I've been a busy bee recently. I was going to start this episode off with bees surrounding me everywhere, but I think it's raining outside, so they don't want to come out of their hives. But I did want to start this episode off by showing you this. What is this? Well, as you can see from the hive inside, this is a honey farm. Yeah, very obviously a honey farm, right? So I designed this thing myself, and it's got a couple of different things going on. Oh, of course, now the bees come out. So we've got the bees trapped inside the front. They can only enter the hive from the front, so we just block off the front bit so that they can only get in and out through the front exit. That way we can run this comparator out the back. So once a bee nest hits 5 honey levels, then it'll output a signal of 5, because the signal will match whatever the honey output is. So because we've got 5 here, once that hits 5, this shoots out here, sends it into the target block, and that activates the dispenser underneath. So we've got our bottle sitting in here in the dispenser, and we've got a simple impulse sorter underneath here that will only allow honey bottles through. I've got it set up so that I only need one because the farm's really slow. One gets caught here, that's just how the system works, and then they go into the honey bottle crafter here. So once we hit 4, we've got our patented little auto crafter system. I extended it a block here because we need the extra repeater out this way. Just didn't want the impulse sorter here to interact with this bit, so yeah, that's why that's that way. So once we've got ourselves our honey block and our 4 bottles, that'll get fed over into here. We've got another impulse sorter right there, and this one is for collecting the honey blocks. So that'll feed the blocks down into this chest here. And then the empty glass bottles get fed into this dispenser, and then we've got our little shooty empty thing. So the dispenser fires the empty bottle into the soul sand here, and then that bubbles up through the soul sand block into the water, and that gets shot up all the way around and back into this hopper here, and that feeds right back in the dispenser. So technically I could run this entire thing on 4 empty bottles. I have a couple extra in the system just on the off chance that the bottle pops out in a weird angle here. I haven't seen it happen yet, but there's always a chance that something could go wrong when you're feeding an item into a block. So that's our automatic honey farm. Unfortunately, because it's only using 1 beehive and 3 bees, it is very slow. So to fix that problem, we did a couple of things. We've got our little bee breeder in here, which I was collecting from manually. So that's one method. Obviously, manual is very slow because I got to keep an eye on it. Can't really AFK it. But that's why we have these ones. So these are kind of just a stripped down version of this. Same basic design, only without the auto crafting and bottle collection and reuse. So what these do is same basic system. We're just using a target block to get into the dispenser a little bit easier. Otherwise, still have that same, crafter into thing, so that will automatically use the bottles on the beehives once we hit honey level of 5. So again, we still have that impulse sorter system there to collect the honey bottles, and they just feed into a bottle. So we're just lacking all of that automated support on the bottom. So I do have to come in, collect the honey bottles, and then once we've got 4 honey bottles, we can make ourselves a honey block. And there we go. And then we just gotta put the bottles back in manually. So it's a little bit more manual. Fortunately, we can just load it up with a whole bunch of honey bottles, so we don't really have to keep a close eye on it. Like, I could AFK this for a while. The farms are slow enough that I don't think a stack of honey bottles, or 60 or however many I put in there, is really gonna burn through that fast. But it means that I can AFK here and just let the 5 units run, and I will collect. I do mean to convert at least 2 of these into more of these smaller units, just so I've got a little bit more going on, and then I'll probably just leave 1 unit here in case I want to breed more in the future. The reason why I need so much honey is, well, I need 6 stacks of it, and it's for a project that I've been collecting materials for right here. So we have been collecting a little bit. We've got 2.5 stacks, but a stack and a half is what I've been collecting. The other stack I think we just picked up from Vote Rewards, or I bought it in the shopping district. I can't recall. I have looked around in the shopping district, and there's only one shop that seems to be selling honey, and they are sold out. So that has kind of prompted the need for me to work on honey breeding, or honey breeding? Bee breeding and honey collection. And this is why. So as you might recall, if you watched last episode, I started work on my map area. And as you can see here, we've completed the platform. This took longer than it should have. Or maybe it took exactly as much time as it needed to. Anyway, this little contraption here is the reason why I need all of that honey. I also need a ton of redstone and slime, but those things are a little bit easier to collect in large quantities. So if we come around here, you can see just exactly what we've got here. If you've watched my last season, you may recognize some of this. I've upgraded it. And this is what I would like to call my carpet cleaner and sweeper. So this is carpet cleaner 2.0. Which means that it has a sweeping agent attached to it now. So this is a 2-part flying machine contraption, and what it does is on the sweep across, it will fire these sticky pistons, which will pick up any carpets that are on the ground. Technically, it'll pick up any block, which I don't have a good example on me right now, but I can demonstrate. We can just put them around here. Sure. And what this does is the front half of the unit, these sticky pistons are going to lift the carpet up. And when it does that, they're going to wind up sitting, floating, and carpet can't float. So the act of lifting up the carpet is a block update. And so the game will then see it floating and it will break the carpet and it'll pop off and drop as an item. The back half of the system, which is the new part, is basically just a really straightforward pair of flying machines. They're doubled up, so they're 2 wide. And there's a slime-based one and a honey-based one. And these are just pulling these stone blocks. And that just kind of pulls the fallen items across the map and will sweep them into a collection system. I have this water stream set up here, which should work as I plan to stagger the use of these sweepers. I'm going to need, I believe, 16 of them. 16? 428 divided by 4 is 64, 32, 16. Yeah, so 16 of these units. But yeah, like usually just to reduce lag, because we don't want 9.5 shulker boxes worth of carpet items just strewn all over the ground and then pushed into this water stream, and then obviously this hopper won't be able to keep up with that. But if we run them one at a time, then it'll give the system enough time to sweep everything in, collect it, and then I will be setting up a basic sorter for all of the 16 different colors of carpets. I will increase this bit to a couple of hoppers just so that I don't overload the system. I think we've got real estate for a couple here. And yeah, so it's just going to make cleanup really, really easy. So once I'm done with the map and I've taken and locked the map, I can run these things one at a time and it'll just put everything away for me. I know there's systems that use water falling in a certain way with glass. I haven't bothered looking those up because I like the flying machine design better. This is a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to build. And yeah, so without further ado, right now this thing is set up to launch each piece separately. I will plan on daisy chaining them together so that when you press one button, it'll launch them both just staggered. I haven't gotten to that yet, but yeah, without further ado, let's run this thing over. So we press the top one first. So that sends the front system across. As you can see, it will pick up the carpets and drop them as items. I may need a railing along the side, but we'll see if this works. And as soon as that thing's run, we can launch this one. And then this system, as you can see, pushes everything across. And now it's swept up the items here, and it will just drag them all the way over. And then if we come over to the other side, you can see that there is a capture system over here, and all this is, it just grabs the 2 units, catches them at the right spots, since we have furnaces and obsidian as immovable objects. You can see this one comes in, and it'll slot right in the top here. Boom. And then as this one comes in, it'll slot right underneath it, and I just need to then shoot it back over. So once it's done here, oh, a little bit of lag, and there's our carpets. Perfect. And to send them back, we want to send the sweeper first, and then the sweeper first, and then the picker-upper. So we press that, that shoots it back over, and then we can come up here, press this one, and that shoots that one off. Now on the return, I've noticed that the inner sticky pistons here actually don't fire, and that is, I'm not entirely sure why, to be honest. I think it's because, oh yeah, it's because there's no observers on the inside here. But when it shoots in the opposite direction, it actually has these observers attached to it. So see, there's like a little hole here now. Yeah, these observers actually get passed between the 2 contraptions. So this contraption pulls them back. This one actually takes it with it on the way over. And that's just because we pressed the button to move this one first, and so the honey and slime here just yanked it with it. Which is fine, because we only plan on using those machines in one direction. Unlike last season where it was omnidirectional, didn't matter which end of the platform I had them start at. But that's all right, we just make sure that when we're done, we put them back, and then they'll be ready to go for next time. Boom, and just like that, it's ready to go. So what I will need to do is set up another 15 of these, and then, like I said, I need to figure out how to daisy chain them together in a way that is keeps the whole system tileable. And then I'll have to decide if I want to add a railing on this side here, just to make sure that the carpets don't fall off the edge. But unfortunately, we just don't have the honey for it. So the reason why I need all the honey is each of these units takes, it converts to 3 honey blocks per line, right? So it's 3 6 like 12 honey per unit. So 12 honey per unit, and the unit's 4 wide, so 100 was at 16 units, blah, 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 blah. It comes out to 6 stacks. And we have 2.5 minus what we spent on that one. So it's going to take some time. So I can do one of 2 things. I can either start working on these units and just build as many as I have the materials for, or I can AFK the honey farm until I have everything and then just do it all at once. So I might do a mix of that. And yeah, so I think what we're going to do is I am going to work on collecting the rest of that honey. I will work on a couple of these units, and I will bring you back when I've got some progress. So pro tip, when you're working with dirt or grass or other blocks that Enderman can pick up, make sure you block it off. I've just encountered an issue where an Enderman grabbed the dirt block out of this unit, placed it over here, and then the bees got out. And of course I was AFKing, so I didn't see where they went, but I have a feeling that these 3 bees are not meant to go in these hives, which is why they're just sitting, hanging out here. So I'm going to wait a couple hours, well, a couple in-game hours, so a few minutes, see if they go in their hives. If they don't, I'm going to release them and hope that they find this hive. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to breed some new ones and replace the hive. So that's annoying. It also means that it's a little bit harder to get into the dispenser here, which I think I'm just going to, yeah, I think I'm just going to drop some hoppers in like this, and then maybe a chest here. Yeah, like that. Then we can just refill like that. So I'll do that for the rest of them, and yeah, once these guys go to sleep, then I can figure out who belongs where. Okay, so it worked. I let go of the first one, and he went straight into his hive. Of course, when I record it, you are an idiot. There we go. Okay, good. And more. Off you go. What are you doing? Sir? Thank you. And yeah, okay, awesome. Self-correcting problem, thankfully. I don't know why they decided to go into the other nests to begin with. That was weird, but at least we've solved that. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, as you can see, I've added a hopper chain along the bottom, and we've put a little auto crafter in here, so we should be able to get honey blocks automatically now. So I still need to throw glass bottles in to refill stuff, and unfortunately I can't actually see if the individual dispenser has anything in it anymore or not, so I'm probably just going to throw a bunch of extra bottles in each one. It's a lot of glass, but it's easy to make more of, and I wouldn't mind doing something similar to this, attaching it, splitting it, putting everything back in. Maybe later. Right now, don't really feel the need to. I think as long as I'm just putting the same amount of, like a even distribution of bottles back in the system, I shouldn't run out. And I've got some extra glass, which I can make some more with. And I've also made a little bit of progress here, and I'm in the water. Okay, so you can see here, I've set it up so that the button here triggers this line here and then comes up and around. I've got a delay here that I think is enough, and that runs over into the lamp. So that should turn everything on that needs to be turned on. Do I even need this? I'll double check. I assumed that I would need all 4 of these, but I just realized that the observers actually run from here. I may not actually need this whole bit, but just in case, I've set it up this way. Oh, I've put this in the wrong spot, actually. This should be right. Go away, phantoms. Ugh, annoying. All right, so we put that here, right? Yeah, because then the next... Stop it! Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, well. I'm not going to try and explain how this works while these guys are running around, so go away. Okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, so, yeah, I can't remember. I need to bring it back over, but runs the line up and across, and because of the delay, it should fire the bottom line first and then the second one. And it's tileable. I just need to grab some more repeaters, because this needs to go here and here. This is the start of the next line. But as you can see, if we press the button here, boy. Boy, here, let's just steal one of these for now. I forgot, I was testing without this part. That should fix it. And then this one won't trigger because it's going to be bending. So the way this is going to look is it's going to go this way, and then we need another repeater here. And of course we're out of repeaters. Alright, so put that in there. So now when we press the button, what are you talking about? This didn't work this way last time. Oh, it's because this repeater is sending, it's strongly powering it, whereas when it was just like the... Okay, so what if I just did that? Will that work? Yeah, because I just need these two because they're next to the observers that'll sit on top. So that should do it. And then, yeah, so this is the start of the next line. We can just tile that over and over again. So that should do it. And then, yeah, it'll just require me pressing a button to activate. Now, I may move the button. I kind of like the idea of having it further back. So I'll play with that. We'll see where we land. Just so that I don't have to like, climb into the system. I can just have a series of buttons at the back. So we'll play with that a little bit, and I think we're pretty much there on the design and setup. So yeah, need to do the same thing on this side though. So that'll look a little bit different. So we'll get that sorted, but I think right now we go back to the honey because we'll still need more. We need a lot more. We're at 15, about 4 stacks, so we've got two stacks left to go. Oh, geez. I have my sounds muted right now, so I did not hear that at all. Oh, geez. Yeah, I'll fix that later. So I decided to do some caving to do some lighting up, and yeah, I think I've had more close calls today than any other point on the server with this map, simply because of how many freaking... Yeah, see what I'm dealing with? But really, it's the skeletons. Because I elect to wear a totem over a shield, which means that they just hit twice as hard, because I can't block them. They're more annoying than anything. But yeah, I've just been using my mini-map and mini-hood to... Did I see gems? No. Just to locate areas that are dark. Anything that shows up in red like this is a 0 spot. It means mobs can spawn, so we want to get rid of that. I apologize if you can hear my cat in the background. I need more lights. Yeah, so I've just been doing a bit of this. The struggle is always trying to make sure that I actually stay like around my base, because I'm kind of nowhere near it right now. I'm lighting up this area specifically. You can see on my mini map or my world map, just because the bee farm area is like here, and while I'm AFKing, I don't want to be killing the global mob cap. Also, you know, lag. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look at all the mobs on my mini map here. So they're all this way. I don't know how to get that way. Alright, I think I've had enough of this for now. Get me out of the caves. So, update. I tried hooking the buttons up together, and all hell broke loose. I don't understand why, but the bottom system here, if you pass a redstone line longer than 3... I think it desyncs the observers, and I don't understand why. I'm too tired to try and figure it out, so I am just going to keep it as 2 buttons. We're going to do that on both ends, and as you can see, I have added the obsidian lines down here and hooked up the bottom redstone lines. So the way these are set up, because I want them compartmentalized, I don't want the whole thing to run at once, otherwise it's going to lag the server out. So I just do button, redstone, and repeater. And this is what I did last season, and it works beautifully. It triggers all the observers at the exact same time. And the repeater going into the button here doesn't pass the signal forward. So I'm not going to do it right now, but yeah, so if I can press the button here, it doesn't send that one out. I'm basically going to do something similar here. So it's just going to be basically this. Where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Don't ask me why I'm using furnaces up here and obsidian down here. I question the things that I do sometimes. But yeah, so we're just going to do that all the way along here. And then once we're done, we'll start setting up the flying machines. Speaking of which, I did all of my math on the assumption that I would need 16 of these units. For the keen math observers among you watching, you may realize that 4 wide times 16 is 64. This is 128 wide, which means I need 32 of these units. So all of the materials that I've been gathering for the past few days, I need twice as much. Which makes me very sad, because the honey's been a huge pain in the arse to get 6 stacks of, and to find out that I'm gonna need 12. Not to mention the slime, which I'm just gonna see if somebody's selling it, because my farms aren't fast enough, and I'm not building a slime farm this season. At least not one of the big industrial ones. But yeah, so this will be my life for the next little while, and I don't know. I'll send you. I'll bring it back in at some point later. I'm sure something exciting will happen in between. So I've got the lanes all placed down. I've got the return buttons all sorted out here. These ones are nice and simple. It's literally just button thing because there's only 2 observers that are being looked at. This one hits one of them, this one gets the other. So we do that all the way down. And at the bottom here, we've got the same return system here that we have on the other side, only they're down at the bottom. So I increased the width of this little platform here by 1 so I can actually get to it. I briefly considered just making one long redstone line since I'm only going to have one of those units over here at a time, but I don't want to run into the same problem that I ran into earlier with the combined button system that I was trying to do. So we're just going to forget it. I think that's it for the button and return lines and the anchors. So the next step is actually building these. I do not have enough materials. I just raided the shopping district. So sorry, whoever runs or what, as well as whoever runs the giant observer with all the redstone. I kind of bought you guys out of a couple things. Actually, the or what place, I bought a bunch of cobblestone, I believe. But let's see what we're doing in terms of resources. So yeah, we've got about half the honey blocks that we need. Actually, I've got about 2 stacks over at the farm right now, so a little bit better than half. But yeah, I've got a ton of sticky pistons, probably more than I need. I don't know. I just kept buying them, so I'm hoping I got enough. Yeah, so 6 sticky pistons per, and let's actually do the math properly this time. So 16, and then I need 32 of these units, right? So it's 512. 512 divided by 64. So yeah, 8 stacks. So it's the same as the honey. So that's interesting. It's only 15 slime blocks and 15 honey. Why is it an odd number? Huh, okay, so we need slightly less slime and honey than I thought we did. 1 per unit less, in fact, which comes out to half a stack less. So it's still 5.5 stacks times 2. So 5, that's what, 11 stacks? So I need 11 stacks of slime blocks, 11 stacks of honey. I do not have that. So we'll work towards that, but we'll start working on the machines as we AFK in between. I think we have enough redstone. If not, there's plenty of places that sell it. And I can always buy more from clerics in small amounts, so I don't think I'm going to have much of an issue here. Yeah, don't worry about the ghost blocks here. That's just the return system on the other end from the testing world. But yeah, so I think we start working on this. I was also debating replacing the stone with something a little nicer looking. Let me know if there's something that I should put in there instead. As long as it's a block that is movable and it actually sticks to honey and slime, so no glazed terracotta, for example, it should be fine. I prefer full blocks as well, just because I don't know how non-full blocks will interact with the items, if they'll like try to phase through it or something. Haven't done the testing, so full blocks, movable with a flying machine. But yeah, I think stone for now, since we have a ton of it, and I think that's all I got to say about that. So let's get these started, and we'll see how far we get with the materials we have. So I found out that my flying machine wasn't actually tileable. That's the bad news. Good news is I found a really easy fix that really just required taking out pieces. Unfortunately, it means that the work that I've done here, part of it needs to be redone. But I'm happy that I get away with using less parts. Unfortunately, when I went to test the fixed version, I was outside of chunk range, and the farm, or not farm, the machine stopped working because it was too far away, and the flying machines, they break if you're more than 128 blocks from them. So I have to take this whole thing down and rebuild it. But the good news is I've now got a schematic of a working design that is fully tileable and works. I've tested it. I don't know how. I forgot to test the machine with another one next to it. But yeah, basically what was happening was there was like blocks on the outside that were getting dragged by the machine next to it. And that caused a whole bunch of bad things to happen. Essentially just rips the farm in half. Well, that was scary. Yeah, it just rips the farm. I keep saying farm, rips the flying machine in half, which is no good. We don't want that. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to pull up that schematic and we are going to rebuild it right here. Okay, so that should be the flying machine done for 1 unit. So just to test to make sure it works. So we shoot this one off first, off it goes. We shoot this one off second, off it goes. And then I gotta follow it. Make sure it doesn't unload. Okay, as you can see, yeah, it's working and it's pulling, so the two machines are working perfectly. And as you can see now, on each like Y level, it's only one type of block, and there's no other blocks getting in the way of it. Because these ones are on the inside, so they won't interact at that level, which means that these blocks here won't get dragged, and then this block here that's sticking out isn't touching anything, right? And then we can send this back. Cool. Use my last rocket to get up here. Send this back. Cool. Look at that go. And as you can see, yeah, the middle ones aren't firing, which is fine. But yeah, I just need to be careful that I'm not unloading the flying machines while they're running. That was annoying that I had to rebuild it. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. I have finished building all of the flying machines. This took me far longer than I care to admit. This is a few days later. I got a little distracted, let's say, busy with life. But yeah, so I kind of lost my weekend, and I'm only just now getting to the rest of these. So I stripped out the extra observers and other pieces that I had started putting in, and then went and put everything else in. I kind of did it in strips. I didn't record it because I've just been doing this in bits and pieces whenever I've had some time. So yeah, you get to just witness the beauty of the finished product. So now that the flying machines are in, the next step is the sorter, I think. Yeah, so we're going to take this bit here, we're going to extend this out, I think, and then we're just going to run the water stream over a couple of hoppers, just so that we don't back everything up, I think. Yeah, probably a couple hoppers that'll go into just a couple of holding chests, and maybe then we'll just feed that into the sorter. I'll have a think about it, and we'll get something done there. The other thing that I want to do is I think I'm going to add an extra layer of glass on either side of the sides, and I think I'll raise it by, I can raise it by 1 block. We'll do that, and we'll get the sorter in place, and then I'll bring you back once more. Hopefully, this thing will be absolutely done the next time you see me. Here's hoping. Okay, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is I made the sorter. The bad news is the collection system might not work because the eagle-eyed of you in the audience may have noticed that, yeah, because there's glass here, or not glass, sorry, that's ice, and not water, what happens if an item gets pushed directly onto it? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to have to figure out how to fix that problem. I could introduce another flying machine, which would require ripping out this glass and putting like immovable objects like glazed terracotta or something, and then just have another flying machine underneath here with like just a single slime block or something pushing along everything over here all the way through. That could work. That's more work, and it would involve making a flying machine that I would have to run every single time any of these machines run, which not ideal. Another option is to rework the water streams. I think there's a way of doing this where you can have it kind of go like up, but still move in one direction. I'm going to have to do some research and look into that. So that's my next problem to solve. Yeah, so let's focus on this part for a second. As you can see, it looks like an impulse sorter, kind of, but it's stretched sideways. And the reason I did this is because I decided to go with water streams all the way through, and the best way for that to work is to double up on the item sorters. So each of these hoppers is going to have, each pair of hoppers is going to have the same item in it. So like this is both going to be like black wool carpet, for example, and then these two will both be dark gray, these two will both be light gray, these two will both be white, so on. And so that means that when they get output, because it's a double chest here, both of them are going to go into the same output chest, so that keeps it all together, even though there are two slices of the sorter. So that should fix that. And then, yeah, there's just a double on top, just for extra. And then I think that's good for this. There's also just a little extra catch-all, a little tiny chip. It's already caught something. But yeah, so that's doing its job. I may make this bigger if the overflow winds up being not as good as I hope it is. And yeah, so we fix this, and once that part's done, then we're done. Then we're done. We can start making maps, and I'm going to not lose my mind anymore because this will actually be a lot of fun, and I can build stuff, and yeah, everything will be good. Everything will be good. Everything will be. I'm not losing my mind, I swear. I am just, I've spent longer on this than I planned. a lot longer than I planned. I was hoping to have this video out a week ago. Yeah, so, yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I haven't even started editing yet, so I don't even know if this is going to be out 2 weeks from the last video. But yeah, so, let me fix this, and, I died for a second there. Let me see if I can find a fix to this, and, yeah, I'll bring it back again. I keep saying, I'll bring it back, bring it back. One of these times it's gonna be the end of the video, but not right now, because I gotta fix things. Okay, so I've figured out the solution. The solution is to go too deep. So by that I mean, let me demonstrate. You know what, I'm just gonna show you my testing world. So as you can see, this is the basic system. So the way this works is it's too deep. You've got a running water flow here, and when you throw an item in, it goes across and it keeps going. But when you throw an item in the top, it falls down and keeps going. So you can see all the stuff has made it across. So the reason why this works this way is so similar to how we had it before. You've got the regular water flow down with the sign and the ice. The difference here is that in addition to this water source here, you also have one up on top and an additional sign above the last bit of water that's coming from the other stream. So this allows us to have flowing water at the same, almost at the same Y level, but at the same Z level, lengthwise. That's X level. Thank you. Oh, geez, math. Yeah, so at the along the same corridor. So this should work. The downside is I have to move the entire collection system down a block in order to fit this. So I think with that knowledge, that is going to end it for the episode. I'll fix the stream in between episodes, and we should be able to maybe make a map next episode. Wouldn't that be nice? So yeah, there's also a couple things that are going on the server, including, well, Halloween Town. Yes, that goat, Halloween Town. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to participate. I just don't have the time this week. But maybe that's something I take a look at the builds from Halloween Town for next time, and I'll tell you all about it. But until then, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!